The village of Eldermere was a place of superstition and silence. Nestled deep within an ancient forest, it was a village where the trees seemed to watch and the wind carried whispers of old warnings. The villagers spoke of the hollowing tree, a massive oak that stood at the heart of the forest. They said it was cursed, that it fed on the souls of the living, and that every 50 years, it demanded a sacrifice. No one dared to go near it, until the day Liam Harper arrived. Liam had come to Eldermere to study the local folklore for his graduate thesis. He was a skeptic, a man of science, and he dismissed the villagers' tales as mere superstition. But when he first laid eyes on the hollowing tree, even he felt a shiver of unease. The tree was enormous, its gnarled branches twisting toward the sky like skeletal fingers. Its trunk was blackened and scarred, and its roots seemed to pulse faintly, as if alive. The villagers warned him to stay away, but Liam was determined. He set up camp near the tree, armed with his recording equipment and notebooks. The first night was uneventful, save for the occasional rustle of leaves or snap of a twig. But on the second night, everything changed. Liam was awakened by a sound, a low, guttural groan that seemed to come from the tree itself. He sat up, his heart pounding, and grabbed his flashlight. The beam of light caught something moving in the branches. It was a shadow, shapeless and fluid, twisting and writhing like smoke. Liam's breath caught in his throat as the shadow descended, pooling on the ground in front of him. The air grew cold, and the whispers began. They were faint at first, like the rustle of leaves, but they grew louder, more distinct. They spoke in a language Liam didn't understand, their voices overlapping in a chaotic symphony. He tried to block them out, but they seeped into his mind, filling his thoughts with images of darkness and despair. The shadow began to take shape, forming into a humanoid figure. Its features were indistinct, its body a swirling mass of black smoke. It reached for him, its fingers elongating into sharp, claw-like points. Liam stumbled back, his flashlight falling from his hand. The whispers grew louder, more urgent, and the figure lunged. Liam woke up in his tent, drenched in sweat. The sun was shining, and the forest was quiet. He told himself it had been a nightmare, a product of his overactive imagination. But when he stepped outside, he saw the marks, deep, jagged scratches in the ground, leading from the tree to his tent. Over the next few days, the whispers became a constant presence. They followed him wherever he went, their voices growing louder and more insistent. They told him things, secrets, lies, truths he didn't want to hear. They told him about the others, the ones who had come before him, the ones who had tried to leave. They told him about the hollowing, the process by which the tree consumed its victims, leaving nothing but empty shells behind. Liam tried to leave, but the forest wouldn't let him. The paths twisted and turned, leading him back to the tree no matter which direction he took. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, until they were all he could hear. He tried to fight it, to hold on to himself, but it was no use. The tree was too strong. One night, as he sat by the fire, the whispers coalesced into a single, clear sentence: "Join us." Liam's vision blurred, and the world around him seemed to shift. The firelight dimmed, and the shadows grew longer, darker. The tree loomed over him, its branches reaching down like hands. The whispers became a deafening roar, and the shadowy figure emerged once more, its form more solid, more real. Liam tried to run, but his legs wouldn't obey. The figure reached for him, its claws sinking into his skin. He felt a cold, searing pain as his essence was pulled from his body, drawn into the tree. The last thing he saw was the hollow, empty shell of his body collapsing to the ground. When the villagers found him days later, he was sitting at the base of the tree, his eyes empty, his face pale and gaunt. He didn't respond when they called his name, didn't react and they touched his shoulder. He was hollow, just like the others. And the tree waited for its next victim.